It's a continuation of the interview with Mr. Allan Willis. This is the second of two tapes. It's for the Warrnambool Institute of Advanced Education's Oral History Project. The interviewer is Francis O'Donnell and the date is the 30th of October 1984. The house where you live here, how much did that cost you, Allan?
It's cost me £317.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that money hard to...
Well, that money was that hard to get that I didn't have the £317. I had to borrow. I went to 300. And an old chap had plenty of money. He took over then, and he bought for 317. Well, I had to pay him back some of it, you know. And that's how I bought it.
did you have to... It was just a farmer, was it?
He was just a farmer, yeah.
Was he just doing you a good turn?
Oh, well, he was doing... Oh, well, he wasn't that sort of a type. He was doing himself a good turn too, because I didn't have as much experience, but... Say, for instance, I had to borrow £100 off him, well, I had to pay the full £100 back, even though I was paying some back at intervals. I had to still pay the £100, the interest on £100, eh? I wasn't experienced enough to know. But anyway, I got it paid off quicker than I could have paid it off any time, like, and I didn't have to, you know, go the full time.
So in the meantime, you still had to fight against the asthma?
Yes, asthma was just starting then, to get him to have a bit of a hold with me then.
And as well as that, you had a recurrence of your pneumonia.
Yes, I had the pneumonia again.
Do you know how you got that?
Oh, well, because I was riding around the push bike, wouldn't go to the doctor, and I was 103. So you didn't go to the doctor unless you were really bad. And it didn't take me as long as the first time to get over it, I don't know. But it left the chest a little bit weak, you know.
And more susceptible to asthma?
Oh, well, bronchial, yes, you know, yeah. Well, that's why I think, you know.
But you had bought some land that you were able to sell at a profit?
Oh, that was long after that, though. That was 1944.
I see, right.
Yeah.
So you bought this place in 37. Your mother came and lived here?
She was living here before that, yeah.
Right. On her own?
Oh, no, she had two sisters with her, two daughters with her.
Right. Were either of the daughters your sisters working?
Oh, they used to do jobs about, you know, and they'd help people out if there was someone sick of that. They weren't full-time work.
And you'd had your stint at Glaxo and didn't go for that? So you worked about as well?
I worked about, started growing onions, then I started growing more onions.
Now, say if you were growing, you mean you were growing onions for somebody else?
No, I wasn't growing for someone else, I was growing for myself. Rent the ground, you see.
Rent the ground?
Until I bought the ground, you see.
What acreage would you have rented to grow?
Oh, well, about 5 acres, 4 or 5 acres, that's about all you could look after in them days. One man.
Right. Did you need help with the 5 acres?
No, not a great deal of help, but you had to work. You know, you get help picking over or something, but you generally help one another with someone else.
Mm-hmm. Then came... well, there was bushfires in 39, weren't there?
Yes.
I don't know whether they would have affected you at all.
No.
Then came the war.
That's right.
What happened as far as your...
Well, I was rejected, you see, because of the asthma in the war. And then I started growing vegetables for the army. And
what do you mean you started growing vegetables for the army?
well, carrots, cabbages, and beetroot. See, they give us a contract. We were getting £8 a tonne to grow carrots. And no, £8 a tonne for cabbages. I think it may have been £8 a tonne for carrots too, I think. Beetroot or something the same. And cabbages were a great crop because you sow them in early May, end of April, and we're harvesting in September. I grew 33 tonne out here one year. And this was, that's out there, cabbages. Yeah, just cut them off and take them over. They had a dehydrator and plant them water when they take them over there.
Was that true food?
Oh, I know who it was. But they just, I think the army took over, you know.
Was this at the start of the war or towards the end?
No, this was, you know, up towards there, you know, about 43, 2, 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So most of the young men had been taken?
Oh, well, some of them had, they wouldn't take you if they couldn't do without you on the farm, see.
If you were in an emergency service,
well, if you're in a place like where you were the main one, they wouldn't take you. You were in food production, you see. If there was, say, for instance, you know, parents were getting a bit on and you were the only son, well, you had a valid reason to get out of it, you see.
Mm.
But if there was 3 sons, well, no harm getting 3 of them. They'd have to 1 or 2 have to go.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, did that help you a lot financially?
Oh, well, it was good. We didn't grow many onions then because these crops were pretty good and it was guaranteed price. Eh? It didn't cost much to get a carrot seed. It didn't take much to sow an acre of carrot seed. And but I still had our own land at that time. No, it was 45 before we got the 44 before we got our own land, and then we didn't get much of our own land out of that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we didn't get much of through the army with our own land. You see, it was rented land, or shares or whatever. You see.
Which made it much tougher to make it quick.
Well, that's right. That's tougher, yeah. Of course, I was growing some here. That helped, you see.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did the attitude of the people around change with the onset of the war? Did they pull together more, or?
Well, I don't know. I don't think there was much difference.
Well, how did life change? The football close?
Football, I think it was abandoned for a while. I think it was. Of course, petrol rationing was on. You had to have the blackouts on the car. You couldn't see much from them. Made them blackouts on the window, on the lights, you know. Only a little beam of light.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, as far as your ration for petrol,
Yes.
would you have any idea what sort of ration you got then?
I wouldn't know. You only get about, you might get a couple of gallons a week or so, 3 gallons a week. But, unless you're extravagant, as it always do, because you didn't run around everywhere in motor cars or so.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a tractor then?
No tractor. We get someone to do the ploughing, and then you'd do the harrowing yourself.
Was someone with the tractor?
Yeah. Pay them to plough.
And what sort of a harrow would you use?
Just ordinary harrow, behind. Well, then eventually a tractor, you put it behind the tractor, but there were two horses and two harrows, that was all it was.
Well, I mean, you don't see that anymore.
No. Of course, in the early days, it was all single furrow plough, only one furrow.
And did you use one of those?
Oh, yeah. I used them all right. Hit a stone and bounce up and hit you in the ribs.
So it's pretty tough going.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And you'd always had Horses?
Yes, always had horses. Oh, every farm had horses.
Right.
They always had horses.
Well, people got cows and they had they kill a sheep every now and again. They had horses.
Yeah.
What would they do as far as vets were concerned if something went wrong?
There was always a local fellow who had a bit of experience of veterinary work. And, you know, they never went running to vets like they do now. The same, you know, if you go back further, these O'Briens and Farney, there was two of them were nurses, you know, great nurses, bush nurses, well, they had a lot of children born at home. Farney. Right?
You wouldn't know whether you were born at home or not.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think so. You had to have these nurses were very high. Now people younger than me that are born at home. In Farney. Of course they had these two O'Brien nurses.
Midwives.
Yeah, they were really good.
Hmm.
And they'd get you in, you see, they were nursing me and had pneumonia. One of them's still alive, she's over in Limbo. Mrs. Rowe, she's about 95.
Mrs. Rowe.
Yeah. Mm. She's a wonderful woman.
How long since you've seen her?
Oh, it'll be 12 months, you see, she was in St. John's when my sister was over there.
Right.
But she's gone over to Lindau.
And is she still with it?
Oh, very much so. She could tell you a few things. Well, the last time I saw her,
Yeah, fair enough.
she was tell me, you know, I told a joke about this bloke who got drunk and they put him on the horse. They put him on back to front. I said, "You're on back to front?" He said, "It's all right, I'm going another way." That's she told me, that does actually happen. Yeah.
You've got a good memory for some of these old stories here.
Oh, you can remember them all right. They always stick in your memory, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she just told me that about 18 months ago, you know, like 12 months
When
ago.
she's around 93 or 94?
Oh, I think she's 95. Might be 96. Yeah.
What about...
See, I've got Miss Loretta Willis is married to her nephew, John O'Brien. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Oh. I can tell you a good story about how the O got in O'Donnell.
If you'd like to, Alan, that'd be...
You don't mind me using O'Donnell?
No, not at all.
So do I, too. It's O'Donnell. Well, it happened like this, you see. When your great-great-grandparents come out here, they were convicts, you see. And when they got to the end of the boat and got off, one of these blokes had a pitchfork, you see. And when they got on, they were a bit hesitant to jump over. He used to give them a jab on the backside to step out. And he's, for all that bloke say, "Your name?" And he had, "Oh!" He said, "Donald." "Oh, Donald, right?"
I'll remember that one. It might even be true.
That might even be true. I told the Joe the Wise, he don't love the Wise rode away, you know.
What about do you know, was you telling me a story there about the priest?
What was that?
Last week. I'm not too sure now what it was, but maybe it was about one of the local parish priests.
Oh, in confession.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Murray, Tom McMurray. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't actually a joke, it was a true story.
No, yeah, that's right. No, that was...
What was that incident?
Oh, well, he just couldn't get confession, you see, because he was playing bowls for Easter and he couldn't get away. On the Saturday he was playing also, you see, and Father Tom was a bowler, and of course he wasn't playing this day, and he said, "What about Father Tom? Get him inquiry." He said, "Oh," I said, "I think so, I would see him, you don't know him." There's a marquee up there, and he took him into the marquee and heard his confession into Wellington.
Right there on the spot?
That's right.
So you go to communion the next day?
Yeah, or whatever, yeah. On good Friday, whatever it was, I forget now, but Tom McMurray will tell you that. Yeah, that was actually him.
Was it the pyjama story?
Right?
Was there a story about pyjamas?
Oh, there was a story about the pyjama. How do you know that? That was old Denny Harrington. That actually happened too. And he was, this is going back a long time, you know, way back. And I remember when I was going to school here, he used to live in an old tin hut, you know, because he never ever heard of such a thing as pyjamas. He didn't know what they were. That was a word he never heard of. And when he got in there to the hospital, they took him and he got really bad. He was there too long, you know. Never had no care or anything. And the nurse come and she said to him, "You've got pyjamas, Mr. Harrington." He says, "Indeed I haven't." He says, "I haven't got any of them old-fashioned diseases. I've got just old influenza." He says, "I haven't got them new-fashioned diseases." That actually happened. Yeah. Yeah. No, Denny Harrington. Mm.
Now, would you sit around when the war was on and listen to the reports on the radio about the war?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, man. Very much so, yeah.
So was the radio a big thing?
Oh, radio was it changed the lives like the TV changed the present day. No? It was just as big of impact on the people as TV had been. You know, because, gee whiz, they could sit up and, you know, everyone didn't have them at the start. They'd go over to the neighbours and listen to things, you know. Listen, when they were listening to cricket, we used to go down to the place. They had it, and we had about 6 or 8 of us there. You know, we'd sit up until 2 o'clock in the morning with a test from England. No, it was a big thing.
Did you ever have to pay for a radio licence?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. You had to pay for a radio licence. On your recent years that they knocked that TV and radio licence out. Always had to pay for a radio licence.
Because most people wouldn't know that.
No.
Well, they just take it as a fact of life. If you buy a radio, you buy a TV, but...
Yeah. Oh, no, there always had a licence. Because when the March flood come here, we were isolated, you know, this 46th flood. You see, that bridge went, couldn't get down here, and the water was 10 feet over the road here. And there was no what do you call, ones you carry about the radios.
Transistors.
No transistors then. And this house, there was a house down here, and it got washed away. Somebody ended up in my farm up there, chairs and everything. And it pulled the electric light pole down. And we had no electricity. So we had no radio, no papers and no nothing until they put a flying fox over there. Eh? Papers, but there was only about 3 families here. All those had to get out. And we were isolated. So then, fortunately, sometimes they always had a fair amount of food in the store. But we were 3 or 4 days before we get over the Pot Ferry Bridge. To put a flying fox over there. Get over there.
Mm. So
I could tell you a good story about the flood too. See, it came up in the night. It didn't reach its peak here until the Sunday night. But during the Saturday night, it started on the 17th of March. That was a Saturday morning, and it rained and rained. And it sort of just slowly come up at the start, and up the 3 Chain Road, there was a chap there living there, living. And of course, them days, you didn't have a bed lamp, you know, you just had one switch and that was it. You switched that off, you got into bed. So this sneaked up in the night, this flood. It was real calm, you know, and I went to bed. And when he got up and put his foot out onto the floor, he put it in water. And he said, I told you, Mary, to put that bloody pot under the bed.
I like that one. That's a very good one. And is that reported to be a true story as well?
Oh, it might be a little bit added. It did happen. He told me putting it, you know, in there. But I understand that they don't let Mary.
But how much effect did that flood have on the area around here?
Oh, well, of course, it didn't have a great deal of effect. Well, that house down there, this house was washed away. The house over there was completely flooded right up to the eave. But as far as the other house was concerned, it didn't have a great deal of effect. And of course, I didn't have any onions that year because we were supposed to be growing stuff for the army and they cancelled it. Well, then this neighbour of mine had onions and they all washed over into my place. And he said, oh, I don't want them. So I picked them up. They were dirty and that. And I think I got a bit, you know, £200 or £300 off them, which was a lot. That wasn't much of a job. So that was done a year I didn't have onions and I didn't have onions. After that, of course, it was the greatest season out. The grass was tremendous, you know. But they were mainly the ones that was affected. It was this house down here. It got all, and this house, of course, was washed away. And the house down here, oh, there were some of them back there. They were in a bit of trouble too. And up the Three Chain Road and that, they were affected. Of course, we never seen them because we couldn't get up. Right? How bad they were, but always a tremendous volume of water on the Sunday. Yes. It was up to the top of that bridge down there, you know, to cross over there. It was up to the top of that.
Was there actually water inside this house?
No, not even that house, because the My Hill turned it off, you see. That hill, it cut into the stone there, but it turned the water off, you see, instead of going into that house out there. For that reason, that's so.
The end of the war came. What was the attitude of the people during the war that you knew around here, in your circle of friends? Did they ever fear that they were going to be invaded?
Oh, well, I think there was definite prospects because, you know, they got very close there at one stage, didn't they? They actually bombed down, didn't they? And I think there was a sort of fear that they would, you know. And it wasn't, you know, not good.
Can you remember the armistice day there?
Oh, yes. That was tremendous. That was tremendous, yeah. Tremendous, that was.
You were living here then?
Yes.
But life went on as such?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
See, this is another one of these vanishing towns, isn't it, Allan? The Rosebrook, where you live now.
Yeah.
Well, where you've lived for the last, almost 50 years.
Yeah.
It used to have a butter factory?
Yes. Yeah, but you see, they haven't been here for a long time, you see.
No,
In the last 40 years, this place, in fact, there's more houses here than there was then. Eh? But where you get the place where they swallow them up, you see, well, I saw this block out here to Chris Fox, you see, well, he's built a house there. Higgley sold a block to Kevin Hurd, well, he's built a house there. And there's another one built over there, you see. Whereas in Clardy and them places, where it's all cultivation, they knock the houses down in that high place.
Right.
That's just the difference. So they can't get the scope here. If you get, you see, a block here, make it get, you know, up to 6,000-8,000 for it. Well, you see, I said you sell it.
Well, when did the electricity come here?
must have come here about 1930, 34, I suppose, 35. Well, I was here when I was, well, I was here, wait a while, no, it wouldn't have been here that early. I was here in the March flood, but, well, I don't think it would hardly come during the war years, would it? So it must have been here just before the war, I'd say, possibly.
Did that have much effect on the...
Oh, yes, it was a tremendous thing, after having an old lamp and that, you'd wonder how they ever did anything with them, read a paper or anything, you know.
Mm. Had you spent much of your life refilling kerosene lamps?
Oh, yes, of course I did, yeah. But, they played cards and everything, but, you know, it was just a lamp. It was a bit hard at times, but... Well, I don't use glasses here. You know, I use them, but like that I could use it quite easily and that sort of stuff.
Right.
But the phone book or whatever. I was fortunate because nearly all the Willises had wore glasses.
Mm.
In that respect.
Did you know the political beliefs of your father?
Oh, they're all Labour. They're all Labour right down.
Right.
Until, well, I was always Labour until that split came.
1956.
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on combos.
Now, did that really change your political beliefs?
Oh, it did, yes, but see, I had a brother in Melbourne, still didn't change his.
Why do you think that was?
Oh, well, you see the unions down there, see, they wouldn't, you had to stick with the unions down there, you know.
You don't think it was? Do you think it was fair thinking? You don't think it was just sort of scare tactics?
No, it's still the same. That Victoria's still full of commerce. Hardly in them blokes. They're still there. They've caused a lot of trouble now. The political scene, Victoria's always been bad for it.
But what about the likes of John Cain and...
Oh, well, Kane's all right. The Hawke, you know, the Hawke's against them, isn't he? That's one thing I've very talked for, but of course I've come to the last election, of course, I think if I vote like John McGrath, I'd vote for him. He's a good fellow.
Right. Do you know him personally?
Yeah, of course I do. He was born in Blarney.
Right.
Right? She was in the last election. But, oh no, it's, I've got enough in mind now at present, but I still don't, not keen on combos. But you know, that divided people a lot because brothers and sisters, they, you know, they're different. They, you know, they're both on different sides.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what do you think, when they talked about combos, what do you think they actually meant?
Well, they want to get control of the engines as they have got control of them now. That's what they're doing now. Gallagher and half in them blokes. God damn it all.
Were you very aware of that before the split?
Oh, well, I was always against communists because they're atheists, aren't they?
Mm.
You know.
But then you said before earlier that your father really wasn't concerned about religion.
No. No. It's so prominent when you go back, you know, 40 years ago. It's so prominent then. 50 years ago. You see, they got such a control of the unions, you see, that they've got too much. I mean, you've got to have unions, I know that, but Like, you know, you could get 12 blokes and put out 7,000 out of work. Don't tell me that's good. Eh? They came in and they put 7,000 out of work. Eh?
I'll just turn this tape.
Up the pipe.
I'll just turn this tape over here.
I mean, you've got to have unions. It was in the old days when Blackstone, when I was there, that was terrible. There was no unions. You see, you had to work 7 days a week. You know, 8 hours a day. I'm not against unions, don't get me that wrong, but I don't like communistic dominating unions, you know. Eh? Because they're not for the workers, they're only to create trouble.
Well, I guess they're trying to get better. They seem to be creating trouble in the early days because they were trying to change conditions.
Yeah, but they're still causing it at present. They've got conditions and they bring in things that are absolutely ridiculous. They want shelter and all this and pie warming machines and all that jazz. It's ridiculous. You know, these things, they'll go out and strike. Or if you sack a bloke, they'll say, oh, well, we'll go on strike. Okay?
Would you have known your mother or your father's attitudes to the monarchy? To the kings and the queens?
Oh, well, the mother wasn't that interested in the kings and the queen. I don't know about the father wasn't that interested neither. If they were coming to Warrnambool, I don't think we'd go to see them. I wouldn't go to see them at present time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That was all. What she was 330,000 million or something. You pay for her to come out to Australia? No way.
Fair enough. Now, you played cricket, Allan. Who did you play with?
Oh, I played with first Rosewood, see we formed a team here, and then I played at Port Fairy. In local league, local competition, then others. Then we played in the Warrnambool competition. You know, after the war. And that's where they're still playing. I played the first game on the turf wicket in Warrnambool. It was ever played on there, because it was pretty lumpy then. You know, well, you just start that off.
Where was that?
The Reed Oval.
Do you know when that would have been?
No, I just couldn't do it.
Before the Second World War, of course.
Right?
It was before the Second World War.
After the Second World War.
After the Second World War.
Yeah.
So you played into your 30s?
I played when I was 40.
Right. What was your specialty?
Well, I was the best at the start, you know, pretty good in the field, and then I made myself a bowler. I continually practice, and I was always change bowler as well.
And you always had this problem though with the asthma. Would that affect you at all?
Oh, it affected me at times, yeah. You know. It was a bit of a drawback, but, you know.
You told me at one stage there that you had there were 50 cow to be milked. That was your father was milking them, was it?
Yes.
Do they have pigs at all for the skim milk?
Yes. Well, they were going to the factory then. There was no skim milk. See, when Glaxo started building a depot right on our property at Tara. Well, not our property, probably renting. And there was no skim milk then because it all went to the factory. But sometimes I might keep a pig. It wasn't a great thing with us with pigs. But down in Gorman's Line, I just don't know what the milk position there was. I just can't sort of remember what they done with the milk then. Whether it was, I suppose there was, I don't know, Nissel was going then or not. I don't know how long Nissel was going.
Well, around the time of the war, they formed the Australian Primary Producers Union, the APPU.
Yeah.
Did you join that?
Oh, I think I did.
Did it have any benefits for you?
Not much, no. Oh, it wasn't much good. No, I don't think I actually joined it now because it wasn't. They didn't bother about onion grow at all. They weren't interested in it. They were interested in cattle and beef and what have you. Perhaps the dairy industry. But as far as onion grow are concerned, they had a vegetable union on their own, but they weren't concerned with the onion grow at all.
Well, was that vegetable union of any benefit?
Oh, I don't think it was much benefit neither.
Well, I mean, as far as marketing your onions and that, your potatoes...
Well, then they formed the marketing board. See, things were pretty tough on a lot of onions. That was back then. They formed the onion marketing board. They were all in that.
Is that before or after the Second World War?
Oh, that was before the war.
Right.
Long before the war. But there were some wouldn't join that, of course.
Did that start around here or in another area?
Oh, I started in Coal Lake and went right through, you see. Most of the growers joined that, you know.
Would they have been optimistic about it? Having a marketing control?
Well, it was good and it was bad. You see, it started off all right. They advanced us £5 a tonne on the onion. You see, they couldn't pay it, but we had the money for a while. They only paid £3.10, I think, a tonne.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it went on, and you see, we weren't getting paid for the good Rosebery onions. They'd leave us here, and they'd only take so many. But then the Daggers would bring in the bloomin' crook stuff, and they'd mix ours with them to sell them, and they were getting the same price as us. Right? It was no good. But there was a lot of onions growing then. Kind of stacks and stacks of Cosclani and Crossley and Colac and Dennington. And there were big quantities of onions growing then. Tremendously. There was a lot of people, you know, they used to see as a secondary crop from they'd milk cows and grow onions and potatoes. Right?
So you'd say there's less onions growing around here these days?
Oh, there's no onions growing there.
Right.
No onions at all. There's none. Clarny and Crossley and Illawarra, and they all grew a lot of onions there.
Mm.
And of course, what they call the pool, they all pull them. They put them in a yard and they were picked over, you know, and you got paid to pick them over. But the ones that were good keeping onions, they never got paid in comparison, you see.
Well, had you been used to taking your onions and stuff to market via the railway?
Yes, oh yeah. Took a lot on the railway.
Did that slowly change?
Oh yes, it slowly changed. And we used to, when the borders on, we'd take them up there and pick them over up there. They brought in the net bags, and see, they used to sell them one time. First of all, there was a 12 a tonne, you see. They were big ones, and I used to load them when I was only 14.
There was what?
I used to load them, you know, with an elder brother, and I was only about 14. Throw them over the side of the dray, a 12 a tonne. You talk about bad backs. Well, then they brought in the 18 to the tonne, and all, well, they looked like as though they were only paper bags. Well, they used to sell them at 18 to the tonne, you see. But then again, then they changed that.
You mean 18 bags to the tonne?
Yeah. 12 to the tonne, you know, was pretty big. But then they changed to 18 to the tonne, they were called centrals. Well, then they used to take them, and merchants used to sell them to bags to so-and-so. Well, then, that was out there, you had to pick them over into net bags then. That was about £50.
Mm.
You had to do that yourself. Or up at the station, they didn't have people, but they do it themselves. And of course, it costs you money now to get into onions, you see. Everyone used to pick their own by hand, but now they pick them with a machine and they have a topper and tailor. Well, that'll cost money. Then you got to have a big shed to put them in. But there's still good money in onions at the present time with water, you know. You can grow up to 15 and perhaps up to more than that's an acre. And Rosebery onions are nearly guaranteed at the least $100 a tonne, perhaps 200.
Mm.
Eh? So They are, if it's ground like this, they are still a good thing to grow.
Mm.
It's 5 acres, you know, grow 80 tonnes. And 216,000 is all the money. You take, you know, 4,000 for cost, it's still 12,000 off.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, those railway stations, were they sort of the bloke who was there, the station master, would he have been a central character in the social life of the...
Oh, well, he was a central prominent fellow, yes. Generally a very good man. You know, I can remember when Jack Tapp was in here, he was a very fine man. And different ones, you know, they were all prominent in the, you know, like the postmaster, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he had an assistant who was pretty good too. They were all good cricketers or footballers, the assistant or something. You know.
Did your father ever have a gun?
No. There was none of the Lewises had a gun. I was the only one that ever had a gun.
When did you buy your gun?
Oh, about 40 years, 30 years ago. Just a rifle, shoot rabbits and that. Perhaps a couple of crows would be up there eating the peas and hang one on the fence, but that's illegal, they've done it. They'd go along and pod the peas, you know, as soon as they got peas in them, crows. Oh. God, they were good. Yeah. But, no, they weren't gunmen. Or fish. They were fish neither much.
No?
Mm.
I've heard some stories about shipwrecks out there, and I've heard lots of people telling different stories about that mahogany ship.
Oh, well, you can hear a lot about that, yeah. Yes.
I believe the Muggermans lived, or the Marnies lived pretty close to that.
Yeah. Oh, I go back to us, you talk about this Gallagher. Oh, he'd be 130 if he's alive today, I suppose. And they used to call him Old Rat. I was in hospital with him one time there. You know, he said, did you ever, you know where the mahogany ship was, George? He said, I was on it. I said, where was it? Oh, he said, just out there in Gils's Reef. That's not where they're looking for his door. But there was more than one ship wrecked out there, you know.
Mm.
Mm. Oh, yes, he was on it. But you couldn't believe a word he'd tell you. A rat. Mm. But he lived till he was about 90 odd and he never had I don't think he had a good meal in his life. Just battled on, a bit of grog and whatever. Mm. Tough as nails.
Well, it seems like a lot of those old blokes. There was a bloke there who died not long ago in Bloke Ryan. Old Mick Ryan.
Oh, yes. Warrnambool?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think his name was Mick.
Yes.
He reckons he used to be a king of the Killarney in the 20s.
He was. Oh, an awful liar too. Snowy. Oh,
Yeah, that's
terrible liar. Well, this fellow Martin that I was telling you about, with
the Galahs.
different fellow altogether. He was a real, like, serious funny man, you know. But he was a terrific fellow, Martin. He lived at the age too, but Snowy was an awful Scot. Awful Scot, Snowy, yeah. They lived down there in Killarney for a good while. Martin, he was there one time and he was living, his mother was there and his sister was living with him. And they got the doctor out, she was crook, you see. And of course, her sister was pretty old too, Martin's mother was pretty old. Well, look here, he said, doctor, he said, you better run the tape over the sister too while you're here.
They seemed to have a bit of they were real wags as far as the...
Oh, yeah, and then he was selling this bull at Droit one day, see, and he'd serve the cow because he broke his pizzle, you see. And of course, Martin went up and had a few grogs in him, and he was selling the bull when he come back, and Jerry O'Brien's alive then, and he said to Martin, is he a good dairy bull, Martin? No, look here, hold on, his bloody main spring is broken. That was Martin, yeah.
If If you were to go to the agricultural show, which show would you go to?
Oh, well, I used to go to Port Fairy. Sometimes. I used to go to Warrnambool too. When I was young, before I started getting into cricket and that. Of course, then bowls took over and that was it.
What about the Koroit show?
No, I never went to a cricket show much. No.
So you didn't have so much to do with Koroit as...
No, I didn't have much to do with cricket at all. Not much to do with cricket. Although I know a lot of people in cricket. But I never was in cricket much. I used to go on a Thursday because there was always sale day. You'd go up there and buy a couple of selling springers or something. They always sold the springers up there. I might have a few head of running them up there, you see. And you went up and sold them every Thursday. That was a big day in Croydon.
Yes, I know a bloke, Bill Digby over there.
Oh, Bill, yeah. He used to drive the cattle up from Port Fairy to Croydon. By horse, yeah.
Is it a fair feat, you reckon?
Oh, I'd say it's a fair feat. And damn it all, it's about 12 miles, nearly. That's a long way. Well, you got to control picking them up on the way, and some of these old cows hadn't left the place for 20 years, for 10 years, 15 years, and they wouldn't want to leave. No, lanes and gates open and that, it was terrible. It was a shocking thing. Huh?
Well, he's probably the same age as you, born in the same month as you.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
He's been a real horseman all his life.
Oh, that's all he ever done. He's riding a bike now, seeing I know. Yeah. But Bill never, he's only in his little, he never got out to play anything. He only lived in a little place all the time. That was his trip to Croydon every Thursday, that was his. With these cattle. Yeah. And if someone bought them, he might as well bring some home.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you got there about finding the ideal woman there,
Right.
Alan?
What's that?
You got something?
That was a joke I was telling him there one day about. I was telling these, we were out one night and there was some women there, and I said, I was a popular fellow like you, never got married. Well, I said, look, I was out with this woman this night, you see. And I said, she was 5'2" and eyes are blue. Critchy, coo. And this was a woman's school teacher, a little bit innocent, you know. Following this all down, I said, how did you go this night? And I said, well, I said, I've been searching and at last I found the ideal woman. I said, it's got a bit serious. I said, what about getting married? She says, she opened the door and hopped out, I'm sorry, Sonny, I'm still looking for the ideal man. And this bloody school teacher woman, believe it, wasn't it? They were laughing about that. I said, wasn't that fair dinkum what you were telling me about that? I told her something the other day, I said, you won't believe that now. She said, no problem, I'm not believing anything you told. I told her I'd foot from it a bit crooked out. I'm not believing that. Yeah.
I think you've got a couple of other stories here.
I don't know whether they'll be suitable or not. I don't know. I put them down for the whips, so she was going to tape record them and that. There was one about the cricket. No, another cricket one.
Yes.
This fellow Nelson, this actually happened too, and he was the night man in Port Fairy, you see. But he was. They wouldn't be finished, the whole day, you see, and when it come to 12 o'clock, he'd just stop the cart and he'd pull out the sandwiches ever under the tree alongside the light cart. He was up to play. So I was playing cricket, you see, with this Palestine mob.
With the who?
Palestine, what they call it there, Palestine, the Port Fairy team, but they had some good cricketers like the Powlings and them used to play. They were real top cricketers like Powling and them. But they used to have to fill up with 2 or 3, you see, there was not much. There was no culture. But anyway, this big team, and he was a hard dude, you see, and he said they couldn't they couldn't get this other mob out. They had 2 or 3 good bats, but they weren't doing any good. And he said, this Nelson was this fellow's name, you know. And they said, bring Nelson on. He said, bring Nelson on downwind. And Nelson, they turned the ball and they came downwind, they clean bowl this bugger. The smell bowl.
Bowled him over.
Bring him on downwind, he said to the captain.
There's another one in there about Lindwall. Is that the cricketer as well?
Oh, yeah, that's another one about Lindwall. That's the one that what's the name, Betts had told in Warrnambool. He was up at Warrnambool going back, Alec Betts, you know, when he was playing for him. He was there that night, over that night. Anyway, this one, Lindwall's, of course, his fastest, best, and they went over to England and they were playing this sort of a practice against this Willis team. First up, you see, and this Blacksmith was playing against him, you see, and he came out in the open and Lindwall bowled down. And this went through, and he never played a stroke, and threw it back and bowled another one down and went through. And he never played a stroke, you know, and we never seen him. Anyway, the next time the umpire thought, oh, I'll widen this up a bit. And he said, no ball. And Blacksmith said, I knew bloody well he didn't have the ball.
I'll pay that one.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was very good. Alec Betts had done that in Warrnambool. Yeah. And there was another good one too. I heard a barracker say one day in Melbourne there, and this Mackay, he was a very slow fellow from Queensland. Buggered her. You know, about away there, tapping back. This bugger saying, yeah, you'll never die of a bloody stroke, Mackay. Yeah.
What's the one about Mick Mulady?
Oh, that's a true one too. That was a true one. I don't know if I tell you that or not, but anyway, this did actually happen. This was a long time ago too. You couldn't read that. There's only a little part there. But, this was at the Caledonian Hotel in here, you know.
In Port Fairy?
Yeah. And it's got upstairs, you know, but they're very narrow. To come down from upstairs is very sharp, you see, to get down, you know, pretty sharp. Anyway, this doctor was there, and he died, you see. And he was a very big, tall bloke, this doctor, and they had to get him down, you see. Of course, the undertaking then, I suppose, he never had anyone with him or anything, so he wanted to know if they could get anyone to get it down. Well, these 2 ladies were rhinos, you know, and they said, oh, get the ladies, Mick and Pat. That was their name. I said, you know, so Pat wasn't too keen about it, but he said, oh, listen, I'll give you $5 bob each. Of course, that was a lot. I buy a couple of bottles of wine with that or more. So anyway, they got up there and they got hold of him, and Pat was in the front, Mick behind. When they come to the bend, you see, they had to bend him around, and he let a bloody fart go. And Pat said, if he can bloody well fart, he can walk. That actually happened. Like Melanto, that one, yeah.
Well, a lot of the Irish around that whole area there, and was St. Patrick's Day a big day?
Oh, a big day, yeah. St. Patrick's race at court, you see. They all had the bit of green on, or a green button or something. You know, that was a great day, St. Patrick's Day. And, very few people worked on that day, you know, but now they work. Anyhow.
Now it's sort of forgotten.
Oh, forgotten, yeah.
The same as Empire Day.
Yeah. No, it's forgotten. Oh, no, St. Patrick's Day was a great day. They'd all have the shamrock button on or a bit of green or something, you know. Yeah. But no, that business now.
What about Empire Day?
No, wasn't a big impact.
What about Lent?
Yeah, Lent was very strict. Oh, very strict. Very strict Lent. Yeah.
Has that changed much now, do you think?
Oh, tremendous. You see, you couldn't eat meat on Wednesdays or Fridays or, you know, that was right out. And, you know, it was a very strict abstinence then. You know, that has changed considerably. And then you had to, receiving, you had nothing for the night before, an hour before. That's a big difference, isn't it? Things have got very easily. But, no, it's a changing world all the time, isn't it?
Yes, it surely is, Alan.
Yeah, and they see him putting a monkey's heart into a baby. It was just one way of trying to finish up.
Yeah, that's for sure. Did you ever learn to swim?
No, we weren't much of swimmers. I lived alongside the beach. We didn't bother swimming.
Well, it seems to be the way for a lot of people in those days.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there were no facilities to learn to swim, really. It was too dangerous out the beach to learn to swim. There was no one to teach you. No, it wasn't taught at schools or anything. There was no pools or anything.
Well, you told me earlier on that they were pretty tough at the school you went to and you got the cane and that.
Yeah.
Nowadays they don't do it.
Yeah.
Would you rather be growing up in this day and age, or you're glad that you grew up in the time when you did?
Oh, well, I think it was a bit tougher at the early. I wouldn't like to be grown up when I was, not in the early stages anyway. That was too tough, when you had to walk to school. Oh, that was murder, hot days and that I wouldn't like to be, compared to now. But then again, you've got to put the frightening attitude of nuclear war on now. That is, but, I don't think there was anything after the World War. I think growing up that time was a pretty good time.
Yes.
Because anyone who was, wasn't eligible for the war, he had a great opportunity after the war to get on. He really did. Because everything was booming, This is how this Connie Gavin and fellows, they made a lot of money. They weren't old enough for the war, and they were at their prime of life, you see, after the war was finished. Right? And they had was the time to grow up, really. But I wouldn't like to grow up. I wouldn't like to. I'd sooner be growing up now than growing up when I started. It was too tough.
Even with all the pressures of the television and the drugs and...
Well, I think that's the person concerned a lot. The country boys out here are still the same as we were. The Wires, the Highlands, there's no pressure on them much. If they've got a good family, I think the biggest trouble is the parents. Like the whole trouble is changed in this way, Francis. The wives are working now, which they never ever done. And the kids come home and there's no one there. This is the big problem. And, I don't know, we know that they've got to work, but you see, they learned, brought up in here, we learned how to economise. There's no doubt about that, and I think perhaps some of the present day people don't know how to economise because they've got the money too easy. And then they just say to the kid, oh, here, take a tenner and go out. That's the worst thing in the world. They don't want that. And you take the country boys of the present day, the pressures don't go on, Not in the country, they might in the towns, I don't know. They're more, they've got nothing to do in the towns, like, because they're all the little jobs and we were kids and that, but in the towns, lands all over, there are plenty of sporting facilities there, but I think if you can get kids into sport at the present time, I know O'Brien's down at Leongatha, or rather she's got 13 of her family. And there's not none of them. You couldn't point a finger at them, they're all in sport. The cricket and the girls, they're all in sport.
Right.
You know, and this is a great sporting place, Len Gather, tremendous. You know.
Right.
No, that's my idea, that if they come and get them in sport, they're in trouble.
That could be, that's right, they've got a lot of time on their hands.
You've got time on
Don't know what to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
Okay, well, look, I'd like to thank you for taking part in this project. It's been enjoyable sitting here. And
It's been all right, Francis, but I hope I've been able to do something for you.
yes, amongst those little stories and that, those little anecdotes of
That's it, the end.